Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. Go to f2bbs.com. www.f2bbs.com. The last bastion of free speech on the interweb. Hi guys, it's your Pontiff. It's the ArchieLuxury. It's ArchieLuxury, Mr. Chesterfield, AC3. Guys, this is a video that's taken me over 30 years to make. The greatest Rolex of modern times. And you cannot make this video. Rodents, you can't make this video because you haven't owned excess of 250, 300 Rolexes. You can't make this video. You've got to have owned the greats. You've got to have owned subbies, vintage subs, modern subs. You've got to have owned Explorers. You've got to have owned Daytonas. That's right. You've got to have been there. You've got to smelled it. And I got to tell you, I'm making this video now. And I want to talk about the greatest Rolex of modern times. Firstly, quick wristwatch check. What am I wearing? I'm wearing a Rolex Explorer 2. This is the 42 mil. Okay, let's jump straight in. Let's get the parsley out of our teeth. What is the greatest Rolex of modern times? What is it? What is it? Simple. Simple. It is the brand new Rolex Submariner. The date sub in steel, to be exacto mondo. That's right. This is the greatest Rolex of all times. Now, I gotta tell you, you cannot make this decision 5 minutes after buying it. Initially, when I got this watch, I was a little disappointed. Why? Because all the hype, but you gotta understand, the Rolex Submariner, this is the new 41 mil. This is the 126610LN. This is the black. Any of the 41 mil Submariners are the greatest Submariner. Now let's have a look at this. Personally, you've got to understand it. This is the W123. That's a Mercedes-Benz reference. Those were the E-classes in the 70s and late 70s, early 80s. The W123, commonly referred to as the Beirut taxi. This is it. This is it. Why do I say that? Let me tell you what makes this watch so amazing. This is the latest release from Rolex. It's now got the 72-hour, you can hear those ball bearings, super ball bearings spinning there, 72-hour power reserve. We've now got the ceramic bezel, no aluminum crap, ceramic bezel. We've got solid end links, no holes case. We have got the biggest, this is the bracelet that basically goes on the Sea Dweller. It's a big chunky bracelet. It's got safety lock. And it's also got the magnificent glide lock to adjust this watch. Because let's face it, as we get older, well, let's face it, when the body is cold, we shrink. When we get hot, we expand. That's how it goes. So this, honestly, is the greatest Rolex of modern times. Now, I've got to say this. This watch itself, it takes a bit of getting used to. And I firstly would like to apologize. I got many friends who have the 40 mil, and I got to be completely honest with you guys. I was bullshitting you. I got to tell you, I said to, because I didn't want him to feel unloved. I got a couple friends and I said, hey man, you can't really tell any difference between the 40 and the 41. You know, I wouldn't, if I had the 40, I'd be just as happy. It's bullshit. You want the 41. This is the greatest watch. I got this watch. It's 41 mils and it uses a 21 mil end links. It's a bigger, badder model. You don't think that. When I slapped on the Explorer 2, ooh, 42, it's a monster. When I slapped the sub on, I didn't even question the size. It was just perfect. It was perfecto. It was perfecto. And that's the whole point. This watch is perfect. Now, let's just do a bit of a list, because there are quite a few new 41 mil Submariners. Firstly, let's rule out the solid gold. I've owned a solid, I had a 16618, and I was a custodian to a 166808. That's correct. So I've had two that I've really played with, and the problem is they're precious metal. You just don't feel comfortable. If you want to be fancy-wancy, the two-tone is fine. Either the black dial or the blue dial. Two-tone is fine. The date sub in steel and the no date sub. Now, the sweet spot out of all those watches, in my opinion, you want to buy a classic steel. You want to buy a classic Rolex sports watch, steel sports, steel with the date. That gives you the versatility. That is the most perfect Submariner of modern times. Now, if you've gone for another variation, that's okay. But the reality is, this is perfect. Then you could say, well, what about the Kermit? Well, the Kermit, the Cermit, of course, that's the ceramic, the green ceramic 41 mil. That's a great watch. But to me, you want to be just a low key. You want to go under the radar. You don't want to be harassed or nagged. The most perfect Rolex of modern times is the black bezel, black dial, 41 mil, Submariner date. That is the most perfect watch, Rolex. I would say it's the most perfect watch of all time. Steel sports, it's Rolex. You can wear this with a business suit. You can wear it with jeans and joggers. You can wear it casual. How? I wear this nude. I wear it in the nude. And, you know, I got to be totally honest with you. I got a friend of mine who collects Daytonas. Hey, I had a two-tone Maserati dial one. The Daytona is very cool. But you want to know the truth. Screw-in pushers. By the time you've screwed them or unscrewed them, the thing you were trying to time has gone. The Submariner with its bezel. Listen to that bezel. That is absolutely the most perfect timer that you could ever get there. I tell you now, the most perfect Rolex of modern times, the Rolex Submariner. It is absolutely perfect. Nothing comes within cooey. And I got to be totally honest with you. The 41, it's perfect. The proportions are it's just perfect. Whether you are a one watch, one and done, whether you have a collection of watches, whether you have a collection of Rolex, this is the most perfect. Now, you could say, well, hang on a tick, Arch. What about the James Cameron? It goes deeper. Yes, it does. The Sea Dweller, it goes deeper too. Yes, but they are professional dive watches. This is you could do all the professional diving you want with this. 300 meters. I mean, man, 300 meters. How far down you gonna go? The Submariner, absolutely perfect, because it's got the elegance. It's got the elegance of just being it's just so cool. It hasn't got the thickness, the girth. This is the most perfect watch for all occasions. You can get married wearing, well, preferably, just stay MGTOW. Go MGTOW. Don't get married at all. Stay MGTOW. This watch is the W123 of Rolex. The Mercedes W123 of sport. It's a steel sports. Would I go date or no date? Look, if I'd go date. Go date. Date, if you got a choice, go date, but nothing wrong with the no date. I just like the date. You know what I love about this watch? There are people who are not watch people, but they love quality people, the quality goods. There's a guy called Andrew St. Pierre White. He's got a 4-wheel drive channel, South African guy. I'll put a link. Click on the question mark, either that corner or that corner. I can't remember which corner because it flips over when I upload the video. He's had a 1680 for years. That's what he had. He struggled and saved. He got a 1680 in his 20s. He's still got it. It's a tool. He's a 4-wheel. He's got a 4x4 overlander. He's an overlanding, meaning you have these camper van 4-wheel drives. Absolutely fantastic channel. He's owned one. So many key people have owned Rolex Submariners. They are one and done. If you've got a collection, you've got to have a Submariner. And the greatest Submariner of all time, let's be honest there. I love vintage, but you want sapphire. Then if you really push it, you want ceramic. Then you want the new 70-hour plus power reserve. You want that power reserve. You can also, it's got the proportions. The most important thing is the aesthetics. It's got the proportions. It's just perfect. This is like a combination of the 16610 and the 116610. That's the first ceramic. This is like if you cross them over, if they slept together, the baby they would have would be this. This is absolutely perfect. The 126610. This is the LN, meaning it's the black bezel. I like this. I love the Kermit. I love the Cermit. But, you know, if you want to be a little bit under the radar, you don't want to be flashy, washy. If you want to be flashy, go for the bluesy. You want to be flashy, go for the two-tone bluesy. But this, honestly, it's a one and done. You could be one and done. You could go through life with this one Submariner. There was also a great interview, Graham Stephan and Federico. They were setting up a watch for the sidekick. I can't remember his name. And they said Submariner. It's exactly it. You buy a Submariner, you will not lose money. They're the most desired sports watch in the world. That's why you've got to go steel. You've got to get the new 41 mil. I mean, I know it's a bit more expensive. Well, it's actually 10 to 15% more. Get the 41 mil. It is the greatest modern Rolex of all time. Now, I admit, I got friends who got the 40, and I've kind of, I said, oh, I don't think it's worth it. I'm bullshitting you. I'm lying to you, snakes, because I just don't want you to feel bad. I know how great the 40 mil Submariner is. It is the greatest Rolex of modern times. You could do everything with this. It is the greatest modern Rolex of modern time. No question at all. This is it. It takes a while to understand it because it's not over the top like a Patek. You've got the finely finished movement. You've got the Geneva seal or Patek seal. It's got a level of perfection. The Rolex isn't like that. Where the Rolex excels, it's utilitarian usefulness. Bauhaus design. Form follows function. Simple, not over the top ornate. It's very Edwardian in its cosmetic makeup. Very Edwardian, but the detail, it's the attention to detail that makes this watch so special. So my honest opinion is, I think, to be completely frank and honest with you, this is the greatest modern Rolex Get the 41 mil. Get it. I think the greatest Rolex of all modern times. Is it the most value? No, I'm not talking about value. Of course, you know, if you had a choice, the Pandas, that's the most valuable modern from retail. But I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, what is the greatest, as in usefulness? What is the great? It's the Rolex Submariner, the new 41 mil sub. That is the greatest Rolex of all time. I gotta tell you, the best thing about this watch is the rodents don't have one. That's the best thing. I got friends of mine who got oodles of watches. They can't get one. It is a very hard watch to get, but please pay the piper. Get a 41. It'll change your life. Your whole perspective, the world will open up to you. I tell you now, the greatest modern Rolex of modern times, it's the 41 mil Rolex Submariner. Get it. Get it whilst you can. These are, they're just amazing. It is the greatest. I kid you not. Okay, guys, I got to shoot off. Guys, the greatest modern Rolex. You heard it from the Pontiff. It's the 41 mil sub. Okay, guys, see you in the next one. Hi, guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW.
Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.